If you're a man, you can absolutely love more than one woman at the same time, and I know it to be true. I have not met one that didn't have the capacity to love more than one woman, more than one wife, more than one daughter, more than one sibling that's female, sister, right? Two grandmas at the same time. And you say, well, that ain't the same. They're not wives. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Fatimah, Coach Fatimah, 1/3 of Outstanding Personal Relationships and co-author of the new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, let's get into this video. Does size matter? I said, well, now that I have your attention, indeed it does, in more areas than one. Now, what does that mean? I'm not talking about the private parts of men, and not boys, men. I'm talking about, does the size of the willingness in the man matter when it comes to polygyny? Does it matter that the size of the ego is too big? Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because there's some predators out there, there's some perverts out there, there's some people out there that prey on women. And OPR is not afraid to talk about it. We'll address it just as much as we do anything else. But the size of the man's ego, his willingness to win, which is a good thing, matters. So how do we balance it out? How do we figure out who's the man for the job in polygyny? He's the one that's going to take the lessons and those losses that he's suffering and turn those into lessons. He's the one that's willing to make sure that he's consistently consistent with all his wives, whether it be 2, 3, or 4. Because in Islam, we're, as I'm speaking to the Muslims, we can have up to 4 wives. The men can have up to 4 wives. There's a limit on that. And I'm glad, because I see the wisdom in it. The willingness for him to become more, to grow, to expand his family in a healthy way. You can expand your family all the time. My dad had 5 kids with 4 women. And he was only married to one of those women at one time. But he was expanding his family, but in a toxic, unhealthy way. He didn't have the tools to be consistent. He was consistently inconsistent. That's what he was. And he would have told anybody that. He was a questionable father, questionable husband, depending on who you asked. But all of us knew it was questionable because he wasn't consistent. So I knew that I didn't want to marry that. So I didn't. And I was blessed the first time around. I have to say that. I have to say that. So Coach Nazir has been the most consistent man that I've ever met. And he knows that, because he's met the men that were in my life as either my father or my father figures. He's met pretty much all of them. So, and I've been around for a while with him and been married to him for 27 years, been in polygyny. He's been in polygyny. Let me be specific for those of you that are new. He's been in polygyny for 12 years. So our family has been in polygyny for 12 years. So with that being said, yes, does size matter? It does, because you have to be twice the man to be invested in emotionally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, with more than one wife. I didn't say more than one woman. I said more than one wife, because we're pro-morals, right? So we're not peppering babies and sprinkling children all over the place and just saying, you keep that over there. Kings move different than clowns do. That's why they have 2 different names, because they act 2 different ways. The behaviors are different. The pattern of behavior is different. So yes, size matters. Men have big hearts. So there's a lot of room in there. Kings have big hearts. There's a lot of room in there for more than one queen. And some people say it's impossible. No, it's not. I love all my children at the same time. You can love more than one person at the same time. And if you're a man, you can absolutely love more than one woman at the same time. And I know it to be true. I have not met one that didn't have the capacity to love more than one woman, more than one wife, more than one daughter, more than one sibling that's female, sister, right? Two grandmas at the same time. And you say, well, that ain't the same. They're not wives. My point is, a man can indeed love more than one woman at a time. I don't look at my children and say, well, I love you today, and then tomorrow I'll love the second oldest, and the next week I'll get to that sixth child, and then over here I'll get to the seventh one, and then down the road I'll get to the first child, love her. It doesn't work that way. The heart doesn't work that way. So when we put those, maybe some men can't, but then the men that cannot, or maybe they don't see themselves doing it, that's fine. Everybody's different. Everybody's not built the same, and that's okay. And some, just to be throwing shade, ain't the man for the job anyway, so queens aren't looking for them anyway, because they'll never attract a queen, and they won't attract more than one queen. Because see, that's what we got here. We got more than one queen. We got a lot of queens in this family, because our daughters are queens. And two of them are married. Okay, so you have to be more. So the size of your heart, the size of your intellect, the size of your vision, the size of your intentions, the size of your willingness to win when you're expanding your family, the size of your willingness to tell the truth and stand in it, the size of your willingness to be consistent and balanced, and make sure your wives and your children are not trying to find you and they don't know where you are. I'm speaking to the men.
Pardon the interruption. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that you could thrive better in the community that's more supportive? Now, I already know the answer to that. But did you know that Outstanding Personal Relationships actually has a community that is supportive and where we really hang out a lot? It has a number of areas and things like, for example, I deal with the men in the Kings and Men section, where we discuss a number of different men issues, whether it's polygyny related, parenting related, whatever it may be. This is where we communicate and connect.
And as an introvert, I love the idea of an online community. So we have that. And to be able to speak with like-minded people, speak with other wives, wives, whether you're an incoming wife, whether you're a first wife, a wife, period, in general, you only practicing monogamy, whatever the case may be, to be able to be in a community with people who understand what you're going through, understand any type of issues you have, and also being in a place where you have support from others, where it's not all over social media for everybody else to see.
Yes, and it is a safe space. So if you guys want to see us, or if you want to connect with us, come to our community.
Indeed. And like they said, it's private. All right. So you don't have to worry about your stuff being all over the place or all on social media, try to find the comments and go scroll. We have the subjects. We have all this type of stuff. Just go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com. Look on the top of the page. Click on community. We look forward to seeing you there. Back to the video.
We shouldn't have to figure it out. Because whether our husbands are sharing time with more than one wife or not, if there's an emergency, if there's somewhere he has to be, he makes himself available. If he can. Now, maybe geography, illness, anything that is a challenge, and the family knows it might get in his way. He might have every desire to win and want to be present, and he can't. I get that. Life happens. Life is always going to happen. As long as you're alive, it's going to happen. Good, bad, and ugly. So yes, size matters. But I wanted to just put that in there for the men that are really trying and, they don't see resolve. They don't know what to do. Coach Nazir is a 4-part polygyny masterclass. I suggest you all check that out. The men, the kings, the ones that are really, really trying to do it. And if you don't know what to do, that's an amazing start. That's an amazing start for the value, for the gems that he drops. He's an incredible coach and teacher and trainer. Oh yes, absolutely. If he wasn't, I wouldn't be saying he was. But I know it to be true. He's one of my mentors. He's one of my mentors, absolutely 100%. Not just because he's cute, not because he's decorative, because he teaches us and he's a leader in his family. We have many but we only got one king here. So yes, and we got more than one queen. And that's all right too, because we're doing polygyny, where the spouse has more than one wife. The man has more than one wife, not multiple spouses. As a female having more than one husband, for example. So anywho, I was just getting the terms together anyways. So yes, size does matter. Intention matters. The health of him, the husband, mentally, spiritually, physically. I'm going to tell you really quickly, I knew I was going to be okay within our polygyny journey because I observed my husband as a Muslim have a very close relationship with his Lord. And I said, more. That relationship matters to him. So if that relationship matters so much to him and it's first and foremost in his life, then I'm going to be okay. Was it easy? No, because I had to look past the edge of my nose to see it. And I had to get out of the way of my own ego to see it. And I had to not blame to see it and not judge to see it and tell my husband, you're in a safe space with me in order for me to see it so that he could communicate with me what was going on in his world and why this and why that didn't happen and why this happened and why that happened. Oh, yes. So creating that safe environment for a king to communicate is what I was all about so that I could learn from him. See, mentorship can't happen if I ain't listening. That can't happen. But as long as I knew he had this huge heart and he had this willingness to win, and he was working on himself too in personal development and wellness, that's a recipe for success. So yes, size does matter. Absolutely. In a lot of different areas. But let's not just think about the size of the men's parts and what they do with them and what they do not do with them, because there's more to a man. There's more to the formulation of a man and a king than that. He got to have more than what's going on between his legs for leadership. Okay, so I'm gonna end that there, guys. Make sure you guys, I hope you guys got some gems, because see, I said what I said, and I said what I said because it needed to be said. That's it. You know, I had somebody ask me that inappropriate question. Well, does it matter? Does size matter? Especially when you got more than one wife? Yeah, it matters. Oh, yes, ma'am, it matters. But you're thinking about the wrong parts. I'm thinking about up here. Of course it matters, but I'm thinking about up here. I'm thinking about in that heart and in those intentions. So yes, I'll leave it there, because see, I started flowing right off into training. So anyways, guys, make sure you all are commenting, liking, and subscribing, hitting that notification bell as well. Make sure you're following us on our social medias, on Outstanding Relationships on IG and Outstanding Personal Relationships on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, what are we going to put in the comments? I would like to know, tell me this, guys. What is your favorite time of the day? What? Morning? Is it noon or is it evening? Mine is the evening, because then everything kind of settles down. I love the quiet of the evening where I am. I love the quiet now. I remember when it wasn't quiet in the evening, but yes, let me know what your favorite time of day is. Morning, noon, around lunchtime, or in the evening. So yes, I'm going to leave you guys with a little GLC. Make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. Coach Fatimah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Here are 3 ways Outstanding Personal Relationships can help you.
Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias at Outstanding Personal Relationships on YouTube and Facebook, and on IG at Outstanding Relationships.
And make sure you sign up for our email list. And you can actually email us at support@Outstanding Personal Relationships, where you will get updates on our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored, as well as exclusive access to our lives and bonuses.
Absolutely. If you're looking for more polygyny education, make sure you visit polygamymasterclass.com. Now, if you're looking for coaching or counseling with either Coach Fatimah or Coach Nyla, you can find them at
Make sure you visit me at CoachFatimah.com.
And myself at CoachNyla.com.
That's how we can help you. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.